Everyone is sick of iPad kids. If you weren't aware, a large majority of our generation is essentially growing up completely glued to their screens, whether it be iPads or tablets or phones. Meaning they're spending all day every day glued to this one activity, and since they're kids, they're not really searching out the useful stuff on the internet, and most of the time they're just consuming the endless amount of brain rot out there. Now this has happened for so long that the new generation is effectively scientifically becoming way stupider than previous generations or just non-iPad kids. I made a video on it a while ago where teachers were essentially fed up of how dumb Gen Z kids are, and they were talking about these kids in like middle school and high school who can't read sentences properly or can't read a paragraph or can't do basic maths. But tons of people are still talking about this, so much that it's become a whole TikTok trending topic, and it's only getting worse.
I need everybody else in my generation to promise that we are not going to raise iPad children. Please. I just saw a TikTok from some millennial, and she was like, here's a message to Gen Z. You might make fun of us, but watch out. We're raising the next generation, and they're going to eat you up. Your kids can't read, okay? You're raising Gen Alpha. They're bizarre and terribly behaved. Y'all bred iPad children. You have been shoving media and screens in these kids' faces since birth. They probably have no imagination because their brain hasn't actually been forced to come up with any original thought. Gen Z, please, when we are older, don't give your kids iPads at the dinner table.
Okay, pretty brutal, and that's coming from somebody who's made probably 100+ videos on just how dumb Gen Z are. And I'm sorry, you know, I don't want to continue the trend with Gen Alpha, but at this point I might be forced to, okay? It's just getting sad. We're literally faced with an issue of an entire generation of morons who essentially believe anything they read on the internet, and they get all of their news from TikTok, and then they're surprised when it comes out to be fake like a week or two later. If you are a parent or you plan to be one in the future, you need to pay extra careful attention to how much access to the internet your kid actually has, because later in this video we'll see some absolutely dastardly effects of what being an iPad kid can do to you and how dangerous it actually is for some kids.
If I'm older and I have my kids and I bring them to a restaurant and I see fellow parents at the table next to me and their kids have iPads at a restaurant in public, what? I'm gonna scream, because what the hell is that? Can you not make your child behave for more than 5 seconds that they can live without an iPad for dinner? Can you not give your child enough attention and like actually converse with them and like teach them things and have conversations? Why do you have to just give them an iPad to make them shut up? Why are they even there then? What are you doing? What is your parenting style? People are gonna come at me and be like, oh, you're 21. What do you know about being a parent? I don't know. I look at kids and they're like terribly behaved. I saw a TikTok of a girl talking about how she was a summer camp for a bunch of like Gen Alpha kids, and they were like the most poorly behaved kids she's ever seen in their entire lives. We have to right a wrong, guys. We have to make our kids normal, please.
All right, bucko, I gotta weigh in here because, listen, I was the kid, all right? I was the kid that brought not an iPad, okay? Wasn't that advanced when I was growing up. I bought my Nintendo DS or my Game Boy Advance SP to dinners, okay? And my parents were all eating and whatever, and I was there training my Pokemon, because sometimes, I'm sorry, I don't regret any of that, because sometimes family is just boring as shit, okay? They're having adult conversations. I simply do not care. You know, I turned out fine. I mean, I guess I am a YouTuber. Okay, guys, maybe stop. Maybe don't play games at the dinner table, all right? See, the thing is, or maybe it's just my copium, I didn't do it at every meal, okay? I still had a couple meals where I'd still be chatting up. If you're doing it for every single meal, it's definitely a problem, okay? Now, let's talk about some parenting issues here, because if your child is like gaming or like watching videos while having dinner, and it's supposed to be like a family dinner or whatever, you should have established a level of authority in the household where people are going to be sensitive about this. But in theory, the kids should kind of be scared of the dad, at least a little bit. The mom's going to be really caring or whatever. This is the nature, but you should be sort of scared of your dad. Like, okay, if I don't put this game down, he's going to beat my ass. Okay, not literally. Nowadays, you don't have that dynamic anymore. Okay, you have a dynamic where my dad's a little soy boy mother flipper who's ranting on the internet and getting offended over everything. So obviously, you're going to have no respect for the dude. And if he threatens you or something, you're being like, I don't care, you're stupid, dude. I enjoy this iPad more than your entire existence, you know? So that's part of the problem, because you gotta make it interesting, okay? You gotta make life with you interesting, fun, so that the iPad is less appealing. Because why do they go to an iPad? It's not this magical mystery creature that just sucks in all kids. It's because of a dopamine hit they get from either the scrolling on social media, or watching YouTube videos, or, I don't know, playing a bunch of mobile games, right? There's a dopamine hit, so you need to counteract that. I don't know, take them out for sports or something. I don't know, maybe get involved with the game and then have a set time for playing that game or whatever. At least, like, know what your kid is doing on your iPad. Now, here's this next video of this woman ranting on TikTok about how she went to a park and realized that, holy shit, these kids are just messing with my kid, and it's because of the bad parenting.
I was not going to participate in the Gen Alpha slander happening all over TikTok. I really wasn't, because I have 2 Gen Alpha kids and I think they're pretty great. But then I took my kids to a public green space the other day, and oh my god, they're the worst. And not all Gen Alpha kids. Like I said, I have 2. They're great. I know. But holy shit. And no one who has a shitty little Gen Alpha child is going to listen to this and think that I'm talking to you, because y'all are the most, like, entitled, checked out, shitty parents on the planet. Oh my god. So this green space I took my kids to, it's like at the center, it's like in a courtyard at a mall. And like they just built a restaurant off of this green space. So a lot of you shitty, lazy parents are doing things like taking your kids to a restaurant. You are having time with your friends or whoever the fuck and sending your kids out to this green space to wreak havoc on all of the other families who have supervised children.
Okay, this is kind of really funny to me, because she's ranting about how Gen Alpha kids suck, right? And how my kids are awesome, though. You know, my kids are Gen Alpha, but my kids are awesome. Everybody else's kids actually suck. I'm wondering if she has the old mother's eye where her kids' actions are just exempt at all times. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt and assume that these kids were just shitheads and her kids were angels. Also, just clarifying that green space literally means grass or a park. I don't know what's this like new dialogue people have come up with where they just call everything a space. Green space. Really? It's grass, man. Holy shit. Now, the problem with shithead kids is that they are like a virus, right? When you grow up with the iPad and you have no social skills or whatever, and maybe there's some good kids, and your good kids are spending all day every day with these bad kids. I mean, you're literally the average of, you know, the 5 people you spend the most time with, so they're eventually gonna get corrupted into just as stupid kids. So once again, I have a piece of advice that may get me some flack, but you should be monitoring who your kids even spend time with, because I don't know, man, some of these shitty kids are just as bad as bad internet content, because they've consumed that bad internet content and are using their kid pipeline to plug that content into your child. So monitor who they're interacting with as well. Some kids are just a bad influence as well, you know? You gotta keep them away from the crazies.
There was a little boy, he had to be like 3 or 4. Not my child, I had to pull him off of 4 different kids, one being my own. After he fucked with my kid, every kid he went near after, I told him to stop. And guess what? Every single time I looked over at his mom, she's chatting with her friend. And at that point, like, why would I even go up to her and say, hey, your child's being a little piece of shit? Because you're sitting here being a piece of shit parent. Like, you're not going to do anything but get mad at me. It was to the point where, like, all of the other parents and all of the other kids were like, who the fuck do you belong to? And the mom's just like, not a care in the fucking world. Not a care in the world that her kid was being a piece of shit to everybody else.
Okay, this is actually so true, because iPad kids are not the problem. I know I just spent like 20 minutes saying iPad kids are the problem, but they're kids. They can't do anything about it, okay? If your parents are obese and they're force-feeding you McDonald's, what are you gonna do? You're gonna make fun of the kid for being fat? Hell no, okay? It's the parent's fault for putting that food on his table. What's he gonna do? Go out and get groceries himself? He doesn't know shit about nutrition or anything like that, right? It's the same thing with iPad kids, okay? If the parents put an iPad in front of the kid, what's he gonna do? He's just gonna watch. It's an endless source of dopamine there, all right? Why would he go do anything else? So once again, it's the parents' fault, okay? So it's gonna be up to Gen Z or the millennials or whatever to take care. I mean, the millennials are done at this point, but it's gonna be up to Gen Z to take care of the next generation of kids and not put iPads in front of their face, despite the fact that that's how some people were raised, you know? You need to not pass on that degeneracy.
Like I said, all the shitty little Gen Alpha kids are parented by shitty older millennials. I think it's older millennials for the most part. Like shitty older millennials that think that their little precious cherub can do no wrong. And while we were there, some other 5-year-old like had wandered away from the green space, gone up one of a few flights of stairs, and was like playing up on this balcony, like playing, with time for an older man to find this child and say, hey, where are your parents? And the kid going, I don't know. And then the man was able to come down the stairs, find me and my husband who were watching our children, like watching them look at a fountain, comes up to us and is like, "Are you guys missing a kid?" And we were like, "No." "What do you mean?" 2 minutes later, like a mob of people come up and they're like, "Have you seen?" And we're like, "Are you serious?" The kid has been up there for like 10 minutes and there's a busy ass road behind this mall. Like what the fuck are you guys doing when you take your kid out in public?
This makes me mad. Okay, this is honestly upsetting because people just don't understand how much work raising a child actually is. All they do is just pork and then they're like, "Oh, whoopsie daisy. Okay, I gotta look up some tutorials how to change a diaper. Guess I'm ready." That's not how it works. Okay, just because you have enough money to provide for the family or whatever, which is very rare nowadays, not just saying. But even if you do have that, there's much more to raising a child. You need to be extremely mature. You need to understand how to actually bring them into this world in a way that doesn't destroy them, okay? Because so many things can destroy them with the internet. It's a heck of a lot of work, it's a heck of a lot of supervision, and it's a heck of a lot of reflection on your part. And especially when you're out in public, you have to control your kids, man, and not just for their own sake, for the sake of everybody around them. You know, you just see some of those videos of these just crying babies in public, or crying even like 5-7-year-olds or whatever.
This shit costs more to your rent. My toilet costs more to your rent. Everything in my bathroom costs more to your rent.
You cannot control your children at all. When you tell them to sit down, they're not sitting down. They're running all over the place. Like, don't travel at that point, man. Postpone that shit. First discipline your child and then start moving around, dipshit. Like, I just don't understand if you're gonna be so unprepared. Why bring a kid into this world? It's so selfish, man. Now, in that story, obviously, it's okay to move your vision off your child for a couple seconds or whatever, but leaving your child on a busy road or whatever, unattended for several minutes is just irresponsible. They could walk on the road, get flippin' pile drived into the ground, you know, jump off the balcony she was talking about, and a bunch of full-grown strangers there that could just take your child. I mean, like, how am I more concerned about your child than you are? That's just what I don't understand. I don't even know your kids, and I want to protect them here. I'm like, God damn it. Now, moving on to this actual certified iPad kid who has been through quite a lot because of being exposed to the internet at a young age, and just detailing how dangerous it can actually be, and a lot of damage has actually been done to her.
Recently, there's been a lot of discussion about iPad kids, and I want to add on to it because I was a kid with unregulated internet access. This video could potentially be triggering, but I think it's also really important. I didn't get my first phone till I was 12 years old, but before that I was on iPad, I was on the computer and everything. I played Bubblebox when I was a kid, which is a very popular gaming website. When I was 8 years old, I got a pop-up ad for adult videos and I clicked on it as an 8-year-old and I saw all of that stuff.
That is just a classic. I mean, how many stories have you heard of kids seeing this type of content way before they are suitable of that age to consume it, you know? The internet is just filled with so much degeneracy now, just unrestricted access to just lots of disgusting things like, well, I don't know why it's on gaming sites or whatever. It's the parent's job to monitor what an 8-year-old is scrolling through on the internet. And, you know, some people might say that's too strict or whatever, but I mean, in this age, it's completely justified. Look at TikTok, filled with softcore PP. Twitter, filled with that. Reddit, filled with that. Like, it's hard to avoid wherever you are. As an adult, as a kid, like, it's just disgusting. It's everywhere. It's your job as a parent to blacklist the sites or whatever. I know you can't blacklist TikToks or whatever, but I wouldn't even let my kid go on TikTok ever. I'm sorry. TikTok is a no-go. YouTube, at least you learn something, okay? Goddamn. Like, obviously, there's good content on TikTok. It's just overwhelming amount of it is so much trash. I wouldn't even bother taking that risk. We're in such a sad state of society where just OnlyFans is extremely normalized. Girls, the millisecond they turn 18, signing on to that shit. Creepy men waiting for internet celebrities to turn 18 and then dumping their entire family's bloodlines, money, treasure into it. Dumping the lost treasure of Atlantis into that shit. Congressmen diverting campaign funds into OnlyFans. That's actually what happens. Like, I don't know what is going on, man. God help you guys. I don't know.
Then when I was 11, there was this anonymous app where you can post things on it. So I posted some things and adult men would message me and then I would send inappropriate pictures back to them. At the time, I had no idea that was weird.
This is just horrific, man. She's gone through the EDP 445 experience over here, and those pics are pretty much just online forever. That's just how it is. This is how they get you when you're young and you're stupid and you don't know what decisions to make, right? It's not her fault, obviously. It's the parents' fault for not monitoring her and seeing what she's doing on the internet, man. She didn't have the capacity to deal with these sort of situations.
I had unlimited screen time, and my parents never looked through what I was doing. I talked to them recently about this, and they said they didn't look through my stuff because they trusted me, but that obviously did not work. And now this generation that's growing up with all this screen time, not only is it damaging their brains, but they can get exposed to all of this stuff. I became like a public figure / influencer when I was 13, and my parents had no idea. I kept that a secret for like a whole year.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. To be fair, I mean, I sort of did the same thing at like 17, 18 or whatever. Like, my parents didn't know I was doing YouTube for 1 or 2 years or whatever. I guess in my case, it was a sort of good thing. But for a 13-year-old, oh my god, you need to be the ones to protect her. And you're saying like the dumbest shit, like, I trusted her. You trusted a 13-year-old? Okay, then give her the details to your bank account, mother flipper. Trusted a 13-year-old. This is the dumbest statement I've ever heard. I will never understand parents who think like this. Do you trust yourself at age 13? You probably thought you were a bumbling idiot then. You're still a bumbling idiot now if you're saying that type of shit. There's a whole reason a legal age exists, because they're not fit to make decisions before that age, you know? Like, important decisions at least. It is just absolutely laughable that these parents think that these kids are capable of taking care of themselves because they trust them. The kids trust you, and that is the problem over here. I don't know, man. They shouldn't be trusting their parents at this point. Then that's probably why they find so much solace in the internet, because they're being raised by complete morons.
The whole time when I was a teenager, I was always talking to adult men because they gave me attention, but I was also never taught internet safety. Not even in school. So this current generation of children, it just scares me so much. Just a few days ago, Alice walked in on her brother watching twerking Among Us videos. It sounds funny, but that's just normalizing all of this behavior to the children.
Hey, not the twerking Among Us videos. Among Us strikes again. There we go. No, but it's true. The entire internet is really just degenerate now. Everything everywhere is sexualized so much that not even a little children's innocent video game is safe anymore. Obviously, it's not a big deal and it's a meme for us, but that's just the start of it, okay? It gets worse and worse and worse, obviously, as you get more and more into the internet landscape, internet sphere, or whatever. I'm fairly certain like 9-year-olds know what OnlyFans is at this point, which is absolutely sad. You know, when you start thinking about it, it gets really messed up, because Twitch is like the #1 place where any kid would want to go to watch their favorite gaming streamer or whatever. And the second you open the site, you're just bombarded with like 15, 18 plus things all the time. It's just hard being a kid. I wouldn't know what to do if I was growing up nowadays. It would just be so hard to avoid everything without having the maturity of an adult.
If you're a parent, you need to be checking your kid's phone. It doesn't matter how much you trust them. And they're gonna be mad. They're gonna be mad at you. But you need to teach them, if you don't want me as a parent to see it, then you shouldn't be doing it. And if there is something private that you do need to talk about, you need to do it through a phone call, not text. Even for adults, I would argue, sending pictures of yourself, you shouldn't do it.
I absolutely agree here. No picture is ever safe, okay? I don't care how much you trust this person. You see, like, the divorce rate and everything. Ain't no way, bro. Maybe because I'm a commentary channel and, like, every couple months, I talk about some moron who sent his pee-pee and it got leaked or something. Some dude talking to kids, so we got the dream moaning audio. Allegations, nothing is confirmed there, but lots of weird shit just happening all the time. As an influencer, I just kind of assume that every conversation I ever have with anybody is just public. That's how I type to everyone now. So, like, anything you want to say, just say it in person or whatever. Even then, I don't know, they're recording in your pockets or something. Maybe just be paranoid, guys. Maybe let's go to the Himalayas, jump off it, and die. Maybe that's the way around is. Also, one more thing, that thing she said about if you don't want your parents seeing what you're doing, you shouldn't do it. That's a bit iffy over there. Obviously, there's some things that kids do and they just want some privacy from their parents. Obviously, you shouldn't monitor like everything 100%, but you know, have a general idea of what's going on, you know, so just to protect your kids. And you know, obviously keep a much stricter supervision if your kids are younger, like 8 years old or whatever. And then as their age starts to rise, then your supervision comes down a little, and then when they're 15, a little more, less, and at 18 you can kind of take it off. Nowadays 18-year-olds are pretty dumb, but whatever. Maybe the parents are dumb, so I don't know, maybe the 18-year-olds have to supervise the parents at that point. Don't know.
Because no matter how much you trust your partner, you don't know what they're gonna do in the future. My pictures from when I was 16 got leaked. And if you want to be intimate with your partner, it is so much more meaningful and safe to do it in person. Everything I've talked about is not uncommon. I don't have a single friend that hasn't gone through something similar to me. If you're a parent and if you're a minor, please take this seriously. Because I didn't, and so much stuff has happened to me.
Oh man, that's pretty horrible what she had to go through, and the fact that it's actually common nowadays is genuinely just sad and depressing. All these parents seemingly absolving themselves of all responsibility is leading to some really deep and dark shit happening to these kids. And at this point, it's not just kids being stupid, it's kids being taken advantage of, nearly ruining their lives forever. Like if you send a picture to somebody at age 13, holy shit, man, it's horrible. It's horrible. So stop being stupid ass parents and goddamn it, supervise your children if you want them to be safe. That's it. Get off the iPad, Timmy. I know you're watching this on an iPad. I was you before. God damn it. Don't end up like me. Touch some grass. I'll see you later. Click this video for more brain cells. Bye bye. I will see you. Bye bye.